Ginger Snap. Ginger Snap Wednesday. I don't think we're on yet.
That's a good thing. Let's do it
they
again.
heard
That's
that,
fun.
they go,
That's fun. Snap,
it's
snap.
It's Ginger Snap Wednesday. Ginger Snap Wednesday. Oh, here we are. Live from Houston, Texas, is Ginger Snap Wednesday with your co-host, Sammy.
Hey, Sammy.
I see you have taken off your bathing cap and you're ready for action. Glad to see that, Bear. Ginger, there you are.
Hi, you guys.
Ah,
All right, I
we
want you
made
to
it.
know I'm sporting my new Cookie Monster shirt. How fun is that?
Only 7 minutes late.
We're only 7 minutes late, but I had to point out this. And someone's going to say, where did she get that shirt? Honest to gosh, I shop at, if you go to Amazon and you scroll all the way down to the bottom, okay, all the way down, you'll see a list of all their affiliate stores, like 100 of them. And one of them is Woot, W-O-O-T, and then they've got these t-shirts, and you just go under bestsellers. And I just thought this was cute. And normally it's a cookie under here. See, there's a little cookie. But I put my little palette here on it instead. So he's got a little cookie there, and I have the palette. So that's my cookie shirt for today, because we're all about color, something flowers today. And I hope you guys got to see our preview. We're still working on that stuff. But here's our, if you saw the preview, here's our magnolia. Look at the size of this thing. Isn't that beautiful? And John got the bug out of it, which is good, because I didn't want to be up here with the bug.
I like the bug.
I know he did.
It was very colorful, too.
It was a very colorful bug. Well, gosh, there it is. There's the magnolia. We have a whole tree outside in front of the house. Would have liked to show you the tree, because it's just starting to bloom now, but we apparently don't have reception in the front of the house, just in the back of the house. So anyway, John Little is with us tonight. He's our moderator. He's also running all the controls. He's answering the fun questions that you may have and relays them to me, along with our good friends Wendy and Kim and
Sandra.
Sandra's on tonight too. Well, I never know if Sandra's going to be on tonight.
Yeah.
And these are our moderators, and those moderators. Everybody's doing this for free, you guys, not just them. But what they do is the moderators keep the trolls off of our live show. They're very cognizant of that. If you have questions, if they can, they look it up for you.
That's a $5 word.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway,
Cognizance.
yeah.
Can you spell it?
Don't get cute with me, right? So, yes, Google knows how to spell everything. This is why we have spell check. Anyhow, they're on tonight, and so we want to have a good time. So, enjoy this fact that we can do this live. We've had people from all over the world that watch this show. This is kind of cool. Back in the day, remember, just across town, it was big bucks to talk to just someone 20 miles away, and here we're broadcasting. Literally, YouTube doesn't charge us anything to use their facilities and get to you. That's pretty cool. And you think of all the things you can learn on YouTube. So I just want to express my appreciation tonight. This is sort of a good thing to do for YouTube. This is appreciation. Who else could we appreciate? I certainly appreciate John, who spent a lot of time getting our...
Speaking of that.
Getting our stuff ready. What did you forget, John?
I have a traceable ready. I need to throw the link out there.
All right, John actually made a traceable tonight for us, because we're going to be I'm going to hold this up. This is our wonderful little painting. Isn't this fun? It's called The Red Wagon, and we're going to have some sort of better title, but with flowers. I mean, some of us remember having these. These been around. They're really American Flyer red wagons. I didn't put any of the name on there because I thought it was a little distracting, but you could put anything, but you can do it yourself. Anyway, this is an 8x10, so we're going to be painting that tonight. And just in case, for those of you, I'm going to show you how to draw it in case you want to make it bigger, but we will have a traceable available for you on our website, gingercooklive.gallery. So we're trying to, get more of those. And last night, if you didn't get the ballet shoes done, we have a traceable for those too. That's on our website if you didn't happen to see that.
Those two were done.
We didn't get honestly, we really didn't get the window and the porch, but I showed you how to draw it. It's two rectangles. This is, it's going to take you longer to trace it than it would be to just draw it out.
It's going to take longer for me to program it to do it. So come on, guys, make some rectangles for me.
So anyway, but this is a little more challenging, so we're going to do that. So if John, if you would be so kind as to put the camera down.
Put the camera down.
Show the camera down here. We're going to be up. I'll be up in the corner.
Oh, can
Let's
you
move the flowers. Yeah, okay, but they were pretty. You guys have to admit. Now, what I've done is I painted a whole little canvas cad red medium, okay, all around that. That's how I started with this. So if you would be so kind as to zoom in for me, John.
I'm going to do that right now.
All right, I want to point out that, see these little bits of red? Those are not flowers I put. Those are little bits of flowers that are peeking behind here. They're peeking behind. It's a subtle way to do stuff. We've done a little bit of that before, so that's what we've got. So it was red and then it was dried. Whoops, I think our flower's way in the way. Here, you gotta go, flower. So now, what we've got here is here's our little traceable, like that, okay? And all I have to do, this sounds simple enough, doesn't it? I just have to tape this down and then take some yellow transfer paper, just like we've done before. And what I'm going to do is just do the wagon, the wheels, and a couple of pots. So there's really not much to trace. And then I'm going to take a moment and show you how to just freehand that in too, because I think it's important to know how to do these things. I was going to do something else tonight, and this afternoon I got this idea. I said, I've got to do this wagon. So I sort of came up with this afternoon around 1 o'clock. So I want you to know this is it's not a particularly hard painting to do once you get the details down. So here is some of our yellow transfer paper. Let's see, what do we got? We have some tape on this. What is going on here with this? All right, here, all right. That's in case you're new to this channel, I want to ask you, please subscribe now if you haven't had a chance to, and if you want to be alerted to our live. A lot of times we say, I never know when you're going live. Well, we pretty much go live on 7:30s on Monday and Tuesday, and we're going to do one more Wednesday. Next week will be our last Wednesday, 2 more Wednesdays. And then after that, we're going to just do Monday and Tuesday, and then sometimes we're doing, John's Journey, or Ginger teaches John to paint, and that's usually on Sunday, sometime on Sunday. So anyway, this is...
Then we may do other things impromptu.
And other things are impromptu. So if you subscribe, you get a heads up. This is called Sorel Transfer Sample Paper. It's a pack of white, gray, yellow, red, and blue. Pretty much all the colors you would need. You can buy it by the roll, but as I said before, gosh, you could use that same roll over and over again for years, So I don't think anybody needs a big roll of this. Unless you're doing a really giant painting, then you might want to roll. Okay, so I've got it down here like this. Now I'm going to use a pen, and first off, we're going to test it. We're going to do a little test right there. See, did it work? Yeah, it worked. All right, so you have to push kind of hard. If you find it's not working, here's a little trick. Put a piece of cardboard back here. If this is stiff enough, the stiffer this is, the better it will work, all right? So let me just come around here, and I'm going to go ahead and, draw in the wheels. And the reason I suggest a pen is so that you can see where you've been. Let's just hold that up there. Is that kind of showing up? Yeah, this would be, let's see, where's my Mr. bottle? I think I gave it to, I put it over there. We had a private lesson today.
Yep, I see, I get it.
And I stuck it over there. And I think if I would have missed the back of this, it would be tighter. Because did we not have at one time a little canvas or something that went in here, a little piece of cardboard? Did we not have something like that? I can't use that.
It's a 5x7 or something in there.
Yeah, we need to put some, yeah, for 5x7. You need to put a little piece of card. Now I'm spraying myself. Do you love it? I'm spraying myself.
That's how I handed it to you.
Yeah, well, that's, it's okay. But anyway, I'm just going to spray the back of this canvas. Again, the question comes up why it tightens it up like a drum. Okay, and then if I hit it with a little hair dryer like that, if I hit it with some heat, then I'm going to do that real quick. Oh.
I love it when she does that. I'm going to do this real quick, and then she does it, and you guys get blasted with it. The traceable can be found right on the website. It is right there on the home page if you didn't get the link. You just look for the picture on the home page, gingercooklive.gallery.
Okay, so here we are. We're going to just, let me see if that's not showing up better. Yeah, it's funny how this can be effective. All right, now we've got, this is just a little box with curved corners. That's the secret for the edges curve, all right? That's kind of the secret to this little wagon here. The edges curve. And let's get this back wheel in here, a little tire in here, like that. And, we're just sort of getting the essence of this. We're not trying to, this is more impressionism. We're not trying to make a photocopy of a red wagon with flowers, okay? But it definitely is a type of impressionism that we're doing. All right, and we're going to say that here's this.
And your style of painting is?
Romantic Impressionism.
That came up the last night. I got to ask that one
That's
too.
my style. Well, I would say it's Romantic Impressionism. You know, and you think about the things that I paint the flower gardens we all wish we had, the beach scenes we wish were in our backyard.
Yeah.
Not, you know, Andrew's got a backyard like that, but some of us don't, and we get everybody it's that kind of thing. Now, I can go ahead and put this little pole up here. The chances are, I did when I did this original, I put it in last, and there was a reason for that, a very good reason for that. I just didn't want to. It was easier to put it in after I did the flowers, but this is where it goes. So you can make an indication of that's where it's going, if you need to. But I don't think you're going to need it. But we'll just put it here anyway, so everybody can kind of be happy. All right, I'm just going to kind of do a few things like this.
Well, while you're doing that, Sandy's asking, how much sketching do you do before you actually start painting a picture?
None.
I mean, when you designed this,
I didn't do any sketching at all. I just sat there and I put the wagon in and went from there. I drew the wagon in and went from there. I just drew the wagon in and went from there, and then made it up as I went. That's kind of how that's exactly how I did it too.
Okay, me being a sock folder would not do it that way.
I know a lot of people would sketch this and then transfer it on and stuff like that, but I didn't. So that's me.
That's you.
And other people do other things, right? So we got some flowers here, so you're not going to see a lot of this wagon here, but we can just we can put some just enough where you get an idea, kind of the height of the flower pots. We're going to cover them up with flowers. That's good enough. All right, we got something like that, you guys. So you see there, I mean it's good enough. And it's good enough, right? That's all I can tell you. It's good enough. And you're going, gosh, Ginger, good enough for what? I don't see anything. Who are you kidding, right? But it's good enough. You got to go for it, okay? All right, so here's what we got here. What do we know? Well, we know that the wagon's red. Well, the wagon is red, so now what? Well, let's take a little Dazzling purple, because here's the color. It's our same group of criminal paints, right? Same groups. White. Cad red medium, that's that. Cad yellow oxide or yellow ochre, Dazzling purple, burnt umber, ultramarine blue, phthalo blue, burnt sienna, magenta, and that is quinacridone magenta. Quinacridone magenta. So what I'm going to start first is a little bit of dark purple. I'm going to put that in here in this corner, and then I'm going to come under here like this, where my wagon is. And I'm using a little angle brush. I'm going to come under here like that. I'm going to just sort of, it's almost like I'm going to draw on the wagon. Like that, just using Dazzling purple right over this red. It's an easy thing to do. I thought this would be pretty. You guys have got the balcony. And I'm telling you what, if you haven't, I put a bunch of your, some of your artwork up on Pinterest. Our Pinterest page is Ginger Cook Live, but it's all one word. It's not separated, all right? So if you want to, so I put some of you guys up on the 2017 student art board, okay, where I put some of our YouTube, some of we're not speaking well tonight. Some of our subscribing members, and then also some of our YouTube artists that have completed these online lessons. I put your stuff up there too, not everybody's, but it's kind of a nice sampling of what people have been doing. And I think it's encouraging to see what your fellow artists have been coming up with, and sometimes people come up with such a better idea than I ever had, and I love to put those things up. I
like the fairy that Sylvia added.
Oh yeah, that was just absolutely great. Like Sylvia put that fairy in the wishing well. It was incredible on the top, kind of looked like a Tinkerbell fairy, but I mean it was really lovely. And I'm going to have a little purple under here. See, so again, I'm kind of keeping the lines of my wagon this way by sort of painting almost the underpainting. Do you see what I mean? I'm sort of saying, well, here's my wagon because I've got a little purple here, up this way, and so I'm sort of the wagons. Then, if it's on Facebook, I'll take it off of Facebook because you shared it with the world, all right? And so if you're a member, the members say share my work or don't share it. We have a form. So if you're one of our members of Ginger Cook Live and you say use my first name only or never share this with anybody, we always ask. Yeah, you bet.
We're already buffering.
Okay.
What do you mean okay?
Well, what can I do about it?
Have some sympathy.
Well, of course I have sympathy, John. But I mean, other than that, what can we do, right? We're
Nothing.
buffering,
I mean,
right?
It's fine over here.
So, then people say, what's buffering? That means we're not spot on. In other words, there's a time delay between where I'm talking to you and then what you're picking up, all right? That's what we mean when we say buffering, okay? So, all right, so I've done that, okay, and then I'm going to say here's the top of this. I know that's going to be a little dark in here on the top of that, and the top of this one, and the top of this one. Let's see, let me put my glasses on so I can see. That one's a little higher. I don't think I quite got that one, but that's pretty much it. All right, so that's the top of these. So those are going to be the flower pots. So I guess we could put those in. So let's take a little white. We've got purple on the brush. Now a little tiny bit of ultramarine blue.
You're going to want to do that permission again here after we get back up and running again.
Okay, and a little tiny bit of cad red medium. Okay. All right.
Okay, we're back again.
We're back. Now, so the question was, do we ask permission before we put stuff up on? It's a lot of trouble for me to put up anything. Takes me a long time to put up anything on my Pinterest board. And so if you've posted it on Facebook, it doesn't necessarily go up there, but because I have to get it off of there, put it in another program, and get it back up. Can't just pin it. And if you put it on my Facebook page, Ginger Cook, Ginger Cook 92 on Facebook, and shared it with me, then I'll share it on sometimes, not always, on Facebook. Now, if you're a member, we have on Pinterest. But if you're a member of gingercooklive.gallery, where you've actually sent your artwork in for a critique, it never goes up on Pinterest unless you have checked the part of the form that said share my painting with others. That's it.
You have the choice. You
have the choice, and some people don't want their painting shared with anybody, and you'll never see it, and they just get the help, because they're getting the help, which is very important, the art critiques and the suggestions of how they can make their picture better, and they just want to keep that to themselves. They don't want you all to know about it, and we respect that. We've got a little cad red medium, a little bit of ultramarine blue, a little bit of white. We're going to say this side of our bucket over here is a little bit in the shade. We've been all painting pots for a while, right? So this isn't too tricky, okay? And then we're going to paint this one over here, same color. This one's going to be got another little kind of a silvery, purpley silvery blue pot over here, okay? So this is kind of fun. Yeah, we do, and we're very respectful of that. And a lot of people are very excited. Like, for instance, we've got a gal, and usually, and I only give help. If you can ask for all the help you want on Facebook, and I can't give it to you because of but I really can't. But if you're a member of gingercooklive.gallery and you want a suggestion, then you get it from me. If you're a member, because you automatically get the art coaching. All right, but we made an exception this month. We made an exception, and I'm going to put a little phthalo blue with this now. Change this one slightly, just a tiny bit. And our friend Christine from England had painted her dog. And I couldn't help myself. I wrote a suggestion. I said, wait a minute, I got to say something. I'm going to write a suggestion. Let me move this tape. So John has that. Do you have that, John? That Christine? Christine's from the UK.
Oh, well, okay. Just hold that thought while I load those up.
And he's going to load those up. I want you to see that because I think it made such a difference. I want you to say, sometimes a second pair of eyes looking at your stuff. I don't care how good you paint. Sometimes you get a second pair of eyes looking at your stuff will be helpful to you. All right, so this is a little burnt sienna, and we're putting in this bottom pot, this pot right here. It kind of touches this other one. These are some nice big pots in our little wagon here, like that. And this is the first coat of paint over the red. Okay, so we're just kind of showing you that. Okay, and then where else could I put this color? Well, maybe I'll put a little of this. As long as I'm playing, I'll put a little of this down here. People always say, well, when do you decide to do that? Well, whenever. I had it on the brush, so why not? That's got to have something down here on our floor. I'm going to take a little bit of red and a little bit of yellow, make an orange color. Come up here, a little bit more cad red medium, make a little bit of an orange color. And I'm just putting in a little bit of our floor here. A little bit of burnt sienna. Okay, in here like this. Around our wheels. And this is, we got to put something down here. So I'm just keeping everything kind of level. So a lot of times when you see me do this, it looks a little bit like I'm just scribbling. I know that. Here's a little bit of yellow. Here all by itself, not next to any blue. A little bit of cad red medium. Here's kind of a bright orange color. And let's see. I need a paper towel to wipe my brush off on. When you're mixing colors with a brush, sometimes you have to wipe the brush off before you go on to paint. It's very important. So I'm going to just show you like this. So I mixed that orange, and I'm going to wipe the brush off and come back and get more paint. And this will be about the right amount of paint I want on my canvas. I'm going to have this a little bit brighter here. All right, so now as long as I'm in the orange paint, I'm going to come around here to the inside, almost a gold color. And this is my first color on the inside of my wheels, so I'm going to paint that in there, like that.
Okay, boss.
Okay.
I got this before.
You got it. Okay, so here's what we were talking about. Here's Christine's. She's from the UK, and here's her dog, and she was very excited. If you haven't seen the dog, that we have a wonderful dog in a basket. We should show that too somewhere, if we know that's on the wall somewhere. But
is it on the wall?
Yeah, it's on the wall.
Okay.
We should show the dog in the basket. So that's her actual dog. He's really cute, isn't it? And she just wanted me to see how much she enjoyed the lesson. What a beautiful job she did on the fur and everything. Really cute. But I had a suggestion for her, and I couldn't resist, and I wrote her back and said, actually, I took the painting into my design of
Corral Painter 5.
Corral Painter 5, and actually changed it and sent it back to her. I said, if you painted it like this is what I sent her back. I said, make the eyes bigger. Make the eyes bigger. She made the nose a little bigger. And it said, do that, and look what a difference that'll make for your dog, okay? And so from there, we told her, and said, now look at the difference. Make the eyes bigger. So then she went ahead and wrote me back and made the changes, and I want you to see her changes on her dog.
That's what I got. That's the last one I got.
Well, you didn't show...
I only had those two. I had the babies, just the skinny.
And then I sent you 3 tonight.
Only one came through.
Is that the one we put on Pinterest?
There wasn't one on Pinterest yet.
Okay, well...
This is the only one I got with Christine Dog at 7:25. 5 minutes before airtime.
Okay, never mind. All right. Anyway, she
well, that's the better one.
That's the better one. She did.
She did another one. She did another one after that.
And made it bigger. But I actually gave her an illustration of what she should do. But anyway, she made the eyes bigger. Made a big difference, right? So that's what personal art coaching does. When you can get, that's how that can be helpful. We just wanted you to see that. Sometimes it's just a couple of things. Because, all right, so we've got a little bit of light here. We're going to take a little bit of cad red medium now, a little bit of yellow, and we're going to paint our wagon again. Let's see, a little more cad red like that. This is our second coat of red on here. It's a little bit of yellow, a little bit of red, and slightly purple. Let's go there. A little bit of red and a little bit of dazzling purple with it. Okay, so here's our, kind of darken this up a little bit over here like that, so that it's not quite as bright as our background, but we're saying that there's the front of this wagon, okay? Okay, so while all this is drying, okay, all this has got to dry, I might take a little bit of light paint like up here. Let's see, this has to dry. I don't know if I can do this. This has to dry. Here we go. I'm going to do a little bit of a light ledge. There's this little light ledge around the top of our wagon here like this, all right? Now I said I'm going to let this dry for a minute. I said I'd show you how you drew this in. That was the important thing. I wanted to show you how you would draw a wagon like this before we get too much further. I think John went to look for the puppy on the wall. All right, so I'm going to move this out of the way and just show you, how one might do this. Okay, so here's our... Here, this is easy. All right, so here's our wagon. So start with the shape, start with the black and white shape, all right? Now, what do you know? For instance, what we know is that if this is straight, this wagon is when it aims in the 8x10, it's kind of aiming up from the corner. Do you see the angle? So the first thing you do is you know that it's aiming a little bit that way, and then the sides are straight, okay, because it's a box, really. What you're talking about is a long box, all right? So here's the top like this, and then it comes back a little bit behind the ends and curves around, all right? So it's doing that, and then this one's going in this direction, like that, and then this side straight up and down, side straight up and down, and going like this. So that's basically the shape of this, all right? And then you've got some wheels here and some wheels here, and if you're not sure about drawing something, trace something round. You know, find something round and trace it. Some little round thing, a nickel, a quarter, a dime, something like that. And then from the center you've got a little tongue coming out, and then we know that the handle's going to come back like this, okay? But you're not going to see the pots. I mean, you're not going to see the back side of this because you've got pots in it, okay? This will be dark in there, but you've got these round pots in here with flowers. So this is a very, very easy thing to draw. And, you know, again, we'll have the traceable so you get the exact proportions. But honestly, I think you could freehand this and do pretty well. Just keep in mind that the whole wagon on this is about, let me just give you the measurements. It's 5 inches long going this way, and it's about 1 3/4 inches going that way. All right, so I mean, I think that should help. In the top of the pot, the wagon's about 1/2 inch wide, and then this thing is this first pot's about 1 inch tall after that. So I think that should help you if you wanted to draw this in and see how that would work. I think you could draw it in. I guess is what I'm saying. I think you absolutely could draw it in. All right, so meanwhile, back at the ranch, we found the puppy. I wanted you to see, this is the original puppy lesson, Puppy in a Basket. This is the one that's on YouTube. This was like a few weeks ago. We did this as a step-by-step lesson. So if you haven't done this was really fun. And I want to give a shout out to Christine for showing you her dog. All right, so now while we're waiting for all this to dry, all right, because we can't do much else, let's take some ultramarine blue and a little bit of yellow, a little bit of phthalo blue, tiny bit of dazzling purple, all right, and maybe a little more ultramarine blue. There you go. Now we've got our yellow. Now we've got this dark green color. So what we're going to do is we're going to come up here like this with using, just leave some of this red showing through. Let's see, we'll need some more blue with that, a little bit darker. Okay, this is our dark colors. We're going to come behind here like this. Okay, can you see that? And I'm leaving a little bit of the red showing, not trying to cover it completely, almost like little X's. Okay, and more paint. You'll notice that each time I do this, I get more paint. Now if I don't have enough paint mixed, none of this works. I'm going to mix a bunch of paint there, okay? Now there we go. I've got some paint on the brush and it's moving around.
Approximately how tall are those pots, Anna Marie's asking?
What?
How tall are those pots? About
an inch tall.
1 inch tall. I'm going to say look like about 1 inch.
Yeah, they're about 1 inch tall. Okay? So, and the one in the middle is a little shorter, okay? So we're going to just come around here like this and just come back here like that. You see how I'm just about every 3 or 4 strokes I get more paint. People always say, how come your paint doesn't dry out? It's because I actually put some on. Okay, and now I'm just ignoring the handle because I know I can put that in later. But I'm coming down about just a little bit above the wagon here, just a little bit about that far with my dark green, okay? That's where all this is going, and it's starting to fill in up here like that. Okay. And let's see, let's just creep right close to the wagon now, make sure that we've got that. Okay, there we go. So that's, again, you're sitting there, how can that end up looking like this? This is what happens. This is why people think they can't paint, because they don't understand it has to look like this first. And if you've got to be able to give yourself a chance to have things, look a little bit different than you would expect. So to make a gray, we're going to take ultramarine blue and cad red medium and white. We're going to make a gray color. See that? This is this dark gray color. Wipe the brush off. Now I'm going to come on this side of my pot, kind of a blue-gray color, and I'm going to make make this shadow side of this pot like this. Okay, and the same thing over here. I want to make a shadow side to this pot. Maybe have it go a little bit more that way. Okay. Now I'm going to make it a little bit darker, so I add a little more blue, a little more cad red medium. Darken this up, this side up just a hair. Okay. Same thing here. A little bit on that because we're going to shade that. And then as long as I've got this sort of color out here, let's put a little Dazzling purple with it and a little white. Okay. Now I'm going to come here over the top of my tires like this in the front, like that, and add a little bit of color right on the top of those. How about right on the top of this? And see, does this color go anywhere else? I think not. I think that's where pretty much where I have it. I don't think I have it anywhere else. I think I just kind of wrapped it around the tires here. I'll come back with a little dark, but that's kind of where I put that color. Now I'm going to rinse the brush. All right, now I'm going to get some white paint because this is still kind of wet. I'm going to come this way with my pot like this with white. Now notice the brush is flat and going this way. Okay, pinch the brush, kind of melt the middle. Remember how we do. And do the same thing over here. Just kind of, this is the light kind of coming from this direction, so we're going to lighten up this right here. Okay. And then I'm going to take some dark brown, which is burnt umber, and I want to come next to this pot right here with the other one, okay? Because these kind of touch. You don't have to get these too great because you don't really see them. Now here's a little bit of yellow oxide here, and this side of this pot is kind of sitting in front of that one a little bit. And here it's going that way, okay? Now we're doing all this without drying, but we're generally getting in our stuff. Now here we're going to say it's a little bit darker, a little purple. Here's purple. That was purple right there, okay? We're going to say there's a little bit darker up here at the top of this pot, right in here like that, and up at the top here. This little corner's darker in here. That one's darker there. Now a little bit of white with my purple, because this is this is sort of a shadow color up here. I'm going to go over this and lighten this front end of our wagon up a little bit, so it's more purple. Okay, and then I'll come back with the dark and say, can I kind of round out my tires a little bit? Put a little bit of a dark edge on the inside of this. There we go, just right in there. No, it's not going to do it. It's got to dry. All right, that's got to dry. Can't do anything else there. If you're trying to put a dark line against a white line, you almost have to wait till it's dry. Okay, so what else can we do while we're waiting for that? All right, rinse the brush. John, do we have any questions while I'm happily doing that?
As a matter of fact, we do have one.
Okay.
Shannon's asking, can you tell us how you and John met?
Yeah, we can talk about that a little bit. Yeah, I'm adding some white to the light green now. You guys see that?
No, I don't.
I'm adding some white to the light green. I need to move this over.
Yeah, bring it down a little bit because I have your picture
here.
Up in that corner.
Okay, here, there. Okay, so we're adding some light green to this, making the light green, a little bit of phthalo with it, a little light green. Okay. Now a tiny bit of cad red medium in that because we want to tone it down. Okay. Don't want it too bright. This is our back color here. Now we're going to come back here like this and put in some miscellaneous foliage. All right. Notice that the brush direction is going in different ways, like that. Miscellaneous foliage. I love miscellaneous foliage, don't you?
Miscellaneous foliage.
Miscellaneous foliage. I had a good friend, and his his wife paints flowers, and he was always, and he's an artist too, and he was always into her getting gardening magazines and painting specific flowers, and that's a lot of trouble. I'm just making them up as I go. I don't care. I don't have time to be painting individual flowers. I've seen a lot of flowers in my life. There's thousands of them. Who's to say I haven't just stumbled upon one in the universe? Now, as I get a little lighter, I'm going to add some yellow to this, right? Because I'm coming a little closer here. The closer we are, we're going to say that there's some lighter flowers in here, okay, like that toward the front. And the same thing in here. They get a little bit brighter, see? And we're going to say that up in here, like this, we've got some fun little flowers growing this way. Okay.
How big are your wheels? About 3/4 inch?
They're really about an inch.
Really?
Yeah. Well, this is about an inch and a quarter, I guess. The top of these pots are about an inch and a quarter. And the wheels are about an inch.
Yeah, that's what threw me off.
Okay. All right. There. All right. So you see we're just saying something happened here, and this dark is still wet. So it's allowing us to, put a few little miscellaneous
we have a question from Sandra. Can you use student grade paint for the red for the background? You might need to paint it twice.
You might need to paint it twice, but I think you could. Red's an expensive color. If you had student grade paint and you're doing this large, I would probably. Red's really pricey. Reds are like one of the expensive colors, so it won't be as bright as this, but you do a couple of coats. All right. So now we're going to come up again, phthalo blue and yellow and a tiny bit of yellow oxide. Okay. Now we've got some brighter leaves now still. Okay. Now we're going to come up here in the front here. Now this is our next lighter leaves. See that, like that? So we're going to say that there's some lighter leaves. I can't put too many of them, but I can come over here and suggest in the front, this is our next layer of light. Okay. It's kind of coming this way. There'll be some in the front of this pot, but we just can't do that yet. So until we do the rest of the flowers, we're sort of stuck here, but that's okay. We're going to say there's something like that up there, like that. So everything is layered, and you see these little bits of red sticking up, and I may just take a little bit of red and put it behind there, then kind of poke some of this red back that I missed, that I lost, like back in there, like that. Okay. Now, while that's drying, you're going, wow, this is so cool. I had no idea this could be so fun. I know. So let's take a little bit of purple, come up under this side of the wagon. There was a little bit of more of a shadow here coming under this corner. Now, if you dipped your brush in water, you got to get all the water off of it. Okay, always wipe your brush when you get out of after it's been in the water. Okay.
Are you just wiping or do you squeeze it?
I wipe it, and sometimes I squeeze it, but I for sure wipe it. I'm wiping it like this on this towel, like this. You see that? Wiping it like that, and that's squeezing it.
Okay.
That's sometimes I'll pinch it, and other times not. But for sure, you want that. Okay.
That was my question.
All right, and then that's someone else is going to ask that. Okay. That's the thing. Sometimes John thinks up questions that if I say something that isn't as clear,
since I'm a beginning artist.
All right. So now we're going to put a little shadow under this wheel here, and let's just come back and kind of work on this shadow under here, and a little bit of burnt umber here with our shadow here, like that. A little bit of burnt umber with our shadow under the wagon.
Do you want to get back to how we met? That's come up again.
Okay, so we're getting back to how we met.
In a galaxy far, far away.
The galaxy's far, far away. John is originally from Michigan. He moved down here last September. And the reason we're putting a shadow this far away from here, it's important, is that makes it, then you know this bar is up in the air. All right, you want to say something's floating, put the shadow away from it. So anyway, so John, I was teaching at Jerry's Artorama, teaching art there, and my friend Mark Kistler came in. He had been teaching there too. He's the guy that was on PBS, the draw guy in the Secret City.
Draw in 3D.
Draw in 3D in Secret City. See how I'm doing these little light things coming around the top of this, like that. We'll do one here too. See? Flatten out your brush, please. And curve that around. Don't make it straight or it won't look like it's a round pot, right? Okay, so we just curve those. And anyway, so Mark, I got to talking to Mark over the, probably the course of a year we got to be friends because he would come in there with his summer special camps and do some stuff. Here's a little lighter orange, kind of a gold orange color for the highlight on this pot. Again, I'm kind of avoiding drawing stuff if I can, just keep talking. So anyway, Mark called me up one day and he said, Ginger, he said, I'm doing this live broadcast a couple times a week on this special Jigsaw channel, and I have all these kids that are drawing with me all over the world, and he says, and I want you to come try that. Just come out and be a guest on my show for the day. So I said, sure, I'll come. So then I couldn't think what kind of, he didn't have a great camera setup because he does black and white, so it didn't have to be all that good. So I took one of these little canvas pads and just made up some small little picture here. Okay. And that's all we did. And I'm going to put a little that light color in here like that on the wheel. Do like that. There we go. And so Mark was, he says, man, this was successful. A lot of people tuned in and signed up for his show. And that's the first time I met John, because John had been working for Mark for about 17 years. And he did all his computer stuff for him. I mean, Mark's not, did everything on the everything about the computer. Mark's whole show ran because of John. And then later, Mark asked me, he later came in and asked me, he said, would you consider, he says, you should be doing this live stuff too. And I said, oh gosh, that requires a special computer, and I'd have to have money for the camera. And, I'm sorry, but this just isn't in my budget. I'd love to do it, but really can't, okay? And then he said, I'll buy the camera and the computer and everything if you'll do it for me. And then we made a business arrangement. And I said, yeah, but I'm not trying to disseminate here, but then there's all this computer stuff. I wouldn't have the first idea how to go about doing that. And I didn't. I said, how am I going to run the show and teach and everything? I mean, this sounds hard. I'm sorry, it sounds really tricky. And so then Mark says, I've got this guy named John, he'll help you. So I said, okay. So that's how John met, through Mark. And then later, what we discovered was, and John had been working for Mark for years, and we're going to get a little more cad red medium now. This is our bright color, and just get a little more color on the wagon here, like that. So we're going to brighten this wagon up here, and coming over here like that. And is this dry? A little bit. Okay, so as I'm telling you this story, we'll work on that. So can you zoom out a little bit, John, for me, please?
Anything for you, boss.
Thank you. So anyway, so about a year into, one of the problems we had with the stuff we did with Mark, I was so excited about doing it, had all my friends get on there, but the quality was just terrible. The jigsaw was a hot mess. People couldn't figure out how to get on. It was just, for us, it didn't work. It seemed to work for him. It did not work for us. And I said to John, I said, if we were to do, get some real cameras and really do this right, we could we have people that are interested in the art school. They just want better quality videos. And so we went ahead and made a separate agreement to work together. That's how we ended up together. And then later on, I think it was about 3 years ago, right? 3.5, 4 years ago is how this started. So we've known each other a while. All right, I'm going to take some white paint here. And you see how I'm tapping this in here? Now, why isn't that working? Because it's still wet. So let me take a moment and dry that. John, you've got some other people you can show, right?
I do, yep. Okay. All right, well, she's off in a galaxy far, far away there. This is from Martha. It's one of our lessons on our website. It's the golf course. A little stone bridge going over. Kind of fancy. Another one. This is a YouTube one. This is Helga and the beach. Did a really nice job on that one there. Then last night's episode of The Balcony, we've gotten 2 people back. This is from Sammy, which is Sammy, not the bear Sammy, a people Sammy. That is hers. And we have one more. Teresa did a balcony as well.
Oh yeah, isn't that fun? You can turn up the sound. Isn't that nice? I think the balconies were a real hit. Everybody's done some really wonderful balconies. That's great. I think we've got more balconies. Look at that one. That's very dramatic, and a very dramatic balcony. Who was that?
Yep, that's all I got.
You got Andrews?
I do not have Andrews. It wasn't up in Pinterest either.
No. It wasn't, because he might make one. He might fix one little thing.
Yeah, I didn't think he was completely done.
He was going to fix one little thing. He did real stucco. Okay, so here these are some bigger flowers, really right, like that, right?
Real stucco.
And then I want some yellow flowers over here, and yellow only paints over white. So we're going to tap some yellow flowers up in here like this on our pot. See, I'm just tapping in the white here where I want my yellow flowers. Tap, tap, tap.
Can I go back in again?
Yeah, you can go back in again. So we're tapping in the yellow flowers, and then obviously they're white now, but they you want to break up the shape a bit, and have some touch. You could have some that came over the top of the pot. Now, one thing I didn't do was take the white and like this over the top of the pot and do this. I needed that, and then since I've dried it, I can do this. So the top of these lines can be a little bit lighter.
Melissa's
some of this.
asking, will you show us where the perspective is? And there really isn't on this one.
Not so much on this one. You're just going to, you know that it's going to end up, this line ends up, if this was an 8 by 10, which it is, right? And this is, this line here is ending up, see, how can I do the ruler here so I can see it? All right, so there's 8, so this is about, if I came all the way here, it's about 2 inches down. If this line kept extending, it would come out about 2 inches down from here, and this one up about 1/4. So you just have to kind of, when you're looking at something like this, kind of look to see where the line would hit the edge of your canvas. That's kind of a secret to how to do stuff like that, okay?
It's just really, it's not big enough for...
Yeah, it's too small for it to really, get too much on that. But, all right, I need the top of this lighter. My little wagon here, like that, okay?
Charity said, okay, but how did you guys develop the romance? When did you know?
Oh, well, I don't know that we, John and I have been friends. His wife died about 1.5 years ago, right? 2 years ago? About 2 years ago?
2 years, it'll be 2 years this June.
She died 2 years ago, and he and his wife and I were friends too, because we all had been talking and stuff on the internet.
We had business plans.
So yeah, we had great plans for her to help me write a book, and his wife was a great gal, and so anyway, we just later, when we were talking about after some time, we just suggested that he come down to Houston because we could, if we were in the same house or at least in the same studio, we could get so much more done. That was the genesis of some of this. Okay, so I'm going to lighten this edge of the pot like this, kind of dry brush that on. See that? Give it a little bit of a light here on the pot. Isn't that clever? You just kind of dry brush that on like that. Now look how round those pots look. How cool is that? And I can take a little bit of gold and white and do the same thing over here because it's dry. It's amazing what happens when stuff is dry. You can come around like this. See, here's the light on here like that. Here's the light on this pot like that. Maybe a little bit more orange on it. Let's see, make it a little bit oranger. Not too much, but here. Wipe the brush off, put a little on there. There you go. There, like that. So that's, but we've just developed a friendship over time. I would say that would be the way to say it. Right?
That's a good way to say it.
I think we just had an awful lot in common. All right, so we've got this, now we've got that, now we've got this, okay? Now what could we do here? Well, what we can do here now that we kind of know where some stuff is, right? Because we have to have an idea where some of our stuff is. So what can we can go ahead and take some white paint and a little magenta, right? And don't mix it very good, right? And I want to come up here and at the same time white and magenta on the same brush, and if I tap it using just the corner, have some of your flowers touch like this, and I'm going to just say that I've got these pretty magenta flowers growing in here like this, and maybe off the edge of this like that. See, like this, and maybe I want a few over here. This is so much easier when you have a flower arrangement. You got to balance it. Sometimes you don't come home with enough flowers. Have you ever had that happen? But when you're painting them, you can just add another one. It's free and everything. Just, I need another flower right there. Perfect. I will put one little flower right there. Okay. So that's these flowers. So that's kind of pretty. I'm letting for that white dry, letting the yellow dry. So now let's take some purple and blue and
make like a violet.
And make like a violet color. Yeah, like a violet color. That's sort of and don't mix, again, the secret is don't overmix these colors so that you see a little bit of both. Now I want to come back up here, and these are kind of tiny. I'm using just a small corner of my brush, a little more purple, blue, and violet, just a little bit stronger on that. And I'm just making up some fun little flowers that are growing over here, kind of tapping 3 or 4 little dots in a row, maybe something sneaking up here, you barely see it. But they're kind of, and the reason we're putting purple, not everybody ask at once, why are we putting purple?
I give up. Why? Does anybody have a color wheel handy?
Everybody remember why we're doing purple? Because remember, these are going to be yellow flowers. Why are we doing purple?
I don't know. Could it have something to do with yellow?
Had something to do with yellow.
Mike, come on, guys. What are you thinking? Can you?
Okay.
They're so far behind us.
All right. So it's purple is the complement of yellow.
Oh, I knew that one.
I know you did, and you're just being good. You know, so purple's the complement of yellow. It's opposite yellow on the color wheel. So when you put purple next to yellow, it looks really good. Red is the complement of green. All right, so this is already you're seeing a pattern here. Now I want a little more ultramarine blue and white, and these flowers on the left over here on the right. Okay, a little more on the right. I think I want these to be.
Yep, you guys finally got it.
I think I want these to be more of the blue. Maybe I'll put some violet in there too, some magenta.
The baby blues.
It's kind of, then I'll add a little magenta to these, sort of kind of blue and magenta, something a little bit different.
Oh, wait a minute! Somebody said contrast. Come on now.
It wasn't
Look
contrast.
no.
It was the fact that they're complements. Okay.
Yeah.
In other words,
Barbara
when you're
got
trying
it,
to
Jeanette
decide.
got it, Andrew got it. Chris got it. Most everybody got it. Just had the one.
Okay. Now I'm going to say I like that color, so I pinched the brush. You saw that. Now I'm going to lighten up the tire right here. See that?
We
I'm going
drill
to
it
do the
into you guys
highlight
long
on the
enough.
tire. See that around the front of our little tire here. Okay. So can you zoom back up there? See my little tire?
I'm sorry.
Okay, you got
Sorry.
So there you go. There's my tire. All right. And just saying, just the front half between 6 o'clock and 12 o'clock. Think of this as a clock. Okay. I'm going to say there's that, and then I want to say a little bit of a highlight on the top of this little handle thing here that we haven't finished. And do I have anywhere else I could put this? That's kind of pretty. Maybe I don't know. Do I want any of that color on this? Maybe reflecting it. That's pretty.
Do you happen to have your die handy? What you refer to as the dice? Have you seen
We have a dice. We have a die here. Let's roll the dice, you guys, for art trivia.
Art trivia. That die. How do I know that's a 3? Look at all the paint all over that.
Isn't that great?
How is that even possible?
It's here. It's on my world. It's a 3. Well, rather than complain about that, why don't you just get with it and tell us this question, right?
It's a win question.
It's a win question. I'm going to add a little more white dots to this now. So just on the top, say between 12 and 3 o'clock on these flowers. Think about little flowers as a clock, right?
Let's just see how smart we all are. Weird question. Could a colorblind person paint? That's from Sandra. Do you want to answer that before I ask my question?
Oh, yeah, I will. And in fact, I'm going to talk to you about my friend Lou, who took lessons from me and was colorblind.
Here was the challenge.
Well, it wasn't the challenge. It was colorblind. It was the kind that he argued with me every step. He argued with me for 2.5 hours. This man never quit arguing with me. I just never understood why are you taking the lessons? You don't listen to anything I'm saying. You just go off and do your own thing. Well, he couldn't see. He really couldn't see red. He really couldn't see green, and he had some very strange-looking landscapes. But he could draw very well. And all he had to do was stay into the neutrals. He had to stay away from the colors he didn't see and stay into the neutrals. And he's winning awards. He's winning art shows. He's knocking it out of the park because he studied to be an artist. And he had to work more on his contrast. A lot of people think that color is contrast, and it's not. Where's our black and white photo of our little picture here, see? Here's our black and white picture of the wagon. Now you see the contrast. You see we've got the dark here. We've got the light here. We've got the dark under here. There's contrast in here. It's not just all one color. And I think sometimes when people do color, they forget. Okay? Why are you laughing?
Because everybody's answered the question. They thought that was the question. I have all these yeses going by.
Okay, all right.
I just think that's great.
Yes, everybody. Yes. Well, and also sometimes...
they just have to be taught what color that gray that is, the greens and things.
And more than that, they can just work on the contrast, and because they can see browns and all kinds of colors. They may not be able to see all the reds. There was a guy named Close. I forget his first name. CLO is his last name.
Mr.
And he had one of those ailments where ailments. That's not the right word. He was born with a hereditary disability where he could not recognize faces. Did you know there's people that are like that? They can't recognize their own mother. They recognize hairstyles and clothes, and if you get too tricky and change, they're not being rude. They just have no idea who you are. They really don't. And he took up painting portraits because he felt like he could, then maybe he would understand who people were.
Now, could he see the portrait? Can he see pictures?
Well, he could paint the portrait. It didn't help him recognize the person the next day, but he could paint the portrait, right? But then, sadly, and this is really tragic, he was in an accident and he became a quadriplegic, and he was painting at that point with his mouth. And some of his best work was done that way in little squares, and some of his paintings are like 100 feet by, they're huge. and he's in museums all over the world. And he was just the most, he didn't, he didn't let that stop him. That's extraordinary to me. That would have just put most of us just quit. And somebody would mix the colors, and he had an electric chair, and he'd go up and down, and he'd paint these pictures. Nobody helped him. He did it, okay? So
all right, question.
Question.
This is a win. This is the official question now.
Yeah.
During which period did Jackson Pollock live? The 18th century, the 19th century, or the 20th century? Dee 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 dee.
Now, I want to just say something. You guys remember what Jackson Pollock painted. All right, so I think it would help if you remembered what he painted.
Can you give us a...
And I can give you a hint. What he painted, I remember when I was a kid, watching, well, I don't know how much of a kid I was, but I was a kid, well, I don't know if I was, yeah, but I was in my 20s, I guess.
Yeah,
I guess I was a kid, right? I watched a 60-minute or some 60-minute show, but I was still living in Aspen. So it was back, Cinnamon was still a kid, somebody was a kid, right? I was watching a 60-minute show about Jackson Pollock, and they were featuring him, and he would take kind of like house paint, and then he'd stand on his roof, and he'd throw it off the roof onto the canvas, and then he'd take another color and do that too, and and then he'd come up and he'd go swap, whap with paint, and go whap, whap, this and that color, and then he took a saw, and he would cut up the pictures that he thought were the best out of these abstracts. So that ought to give you kind of a hint of what century he might have been born in. I'm getting into the browns now and into the oranges now by my wagon. So what do we got? This is some names, John, of who thinks what.
Tanya says the 20th.
20th. Tanya says the 20th, okay.
Jerp says the 20th.
Okay.
Barbara says the 20th.
Okay.
Patty says the 18th.
Okay.
Coupon says the 20th. Deborah says the 20th. Brenda's laughing, big messes. And Sylvia's the 20th. Sylvia Polk, Sylvia McBride, 20th. I must go to Google him. Hey, that's cheating, guys. Christy is the 20th. Angela is the 19th. Lynn's the 20th. Anne Marie's the 20th. Looks like most people are going with the 20th.
All right, I'm going to go with the 20th.
And if you guessed the 20th, pat yourself on the back. You are correct. You get to go to the bonus round.
Oh boy, there's a bonus round? Okay.
Always got to have a bonus round. Come on.
Okay. Well, and I want to just say, you guys, those of you who get Netflix, I'm going to recommend a movie. Please watch it.
Have I watched it yet?
Please watch it. You have not watched it. It is called Who in the Blank is Jackson Pollock. That's the name. It's a documentary. It's called Who in the Blank is Jackson Pollock. It is the best documentary for an artist on why one ought to sign one's artwork. And I'll give you a brief preview of what it's about. There was this, I got to put my little wheel back here. See, like there you go, wheel back. Okay. There was this woman and who lived, I think, up in Alaska. She was a truck driver. She's probably in her late 50s. And she was at a garage sale, and one of her best friends was depressed. You know how that goes. You have a friend, they call you up, they're depressed. So she decided to get her a present, and there was this big painting there, like bigger than this table. Big painting, okay? And she got it for $5. She bought it, and she took it over to her girlfriend's trailer. They couldn't get it in the front door, the trailer. I couldn't get the refrigerator in my house, so I get that. Couldn't get it in the house. So then she took it to her place, to her trailer, and they put it outside kind of under the balcony there, and she had a garage sale and decided to sell it. Well, this art teacher came along from the high school at her garage sale, small town, and he looked at that, and he said, that looks a bit like a Jackson Pollock. She says, I don't know who that is. She says, well, he says, you might want to know, because if it's a Jackson Pollock, it's worth some money. The problem was there was no signature on the painting. So the documentary is the story of this woman's 10-year journey to find out if this was a Jackson Pollock. Because if it was a Jackson Pollock, it was worth $50 million.
For splatterware.
Yeah. Well, there's no accounting taste, but that was worth $50 million, okay? So all right, so I think that is a cool story, and it's very interesting because I used to forget to sign paintings all the time. And, you don't, because people don't say, now think about this as an artist, people don't say, I've got this darling little pond scene with some water lilies. They say I have a real Monet, right? People don't buy the painting, they buy the artist.
Hey, speaking of that, do you have a certificate that we did?
Oh, I do. I have a certificate.
Let's break into an advertising commercial right now.
Yeah, because when we did our auction,
and we'll have another one coming up in early summer.
When we did our auction, these are the kind of certificates we sent out to everybody with their painting. An original certificate, acrylic painting, the name, the title, it was signed, the date. It's got our seal.
Seal of approval.
Seal of approval and the date it went out and a picture of it. This is a copy of one we sent out. The proposal made it to Lori's house. She got it. And we saw that, and that's great. I'm so glad, Lori, you got your painting and her month worth of lessons. This was a fun contest. Find
8 secret words.
8 secret words, you guys. You all did great. We'll do some more secret words soon. Anyway, I just want to say that, so that's important. You know, and again, think about that. People don't say, I have some I have this crazy painting with this thick paint and these funny little spots all over it. They say I own Starry Night. And they say, and I own a Vincent van Gogh, right? That's what people buy and that's what they're buying from you too, is that you sell the artist, not the art. Because that's in the down run, that's what it comes, and that's why you must always sign it. That being said, commercial being over, let's take some light paint now, a little bright paint. Let's just wake this paint up here. A little yellow, a little phthalo blue, a little white. Now we're going to make some bright green, okay? A little brighter than we normally do, right? We're going to come in the front here because we're going to drape some. Let's take a little bit of dark with that, okay? We're going to put some.
I've got to back out. I got to see where this is coming from.
We're putting some of this little painting, these little tiny kind of little whatever these are. They're growing off the edge here. Okay, like that. Okay.
Can you pull your original down a little bit so you guys are buddies? Thanks.
Yeah. So we're putting that in there, right?
Okay.
And then we've got some of this over here on this side, coming off of this way, maybe over here, some light stuff, and then let's come in here like this. Take a little bit of white to that. Let's come in here and add some light leaves like this, maybe draping over the pot now. Now we're coming a little closer so we can make a few little lighter leaves. And maybe we've got some little light stuff going right like this from this pot. Now let's get some more. I'm going to change greens now. I'm going to take some ultramarine blue and white and change the green. Get a little phthalo with that. Let's just change the green. Make it more of a blue-green with white. Okay, and now I'm going to say I've got some blue-green leaves over here like that on this pot. Okay, and then coming out that way. Okay, and let's see, do I have anything else? Let's see, let's put a little bit of yellow oxide with that. Let's change the greens. Notice we're not buying greens, you guys. Did you notice that? So we're changing the greens in this one like that. Okay, and we got something over the top of the pot here. So I mean, your pots didn't have to be that perfect, did they really? Because we're just happily throwing leaves here and there. And then I've got a few I'm going to put down here on the ground. Because if you're anything like me, half the stuff lies on the ground. I don't know what happens. You don't water it. Sad things happen to my plants, okay? All right, a little bit of lighter green right in here like this, okay, down on the edge. Now, I mean, it's kind of fun how this is working, isn't it? And let's see, I think I want to take my red, come down here a little bit lower. I think I need to lower this wagon just down here a touch. I think I got it up a little high. Going to lower my wagon here like that. Okay. And let's see, what else did we want to do? Oh yeah, so now we want to take some of that cad red medium and come over the white. Now look how much brighter this red's going to be because we went over. That's just this cad red medium. Came over the white flowers and they're dry. So these are very bright, okay? Very, very bright like that. And then I might take a little magenta and red and make a little dark side on some of them, just on the, say, between 3 and 6 o'clock on those. Like that, and then maybe a little bit of white and yellow and red, just kind of something a little brighter, just a tiny bit brighter up here. It's a little bit of a highlight. Let's see, maybe just a little white. Pinch it because I want to just tap that. I want a little bit lighter on the very top, right, like this, where they might be catching a little tiny bit of light here, where they might be catching the light right up here like that. See? So those little flowers are lit up, okay? Now moving along, let's go back to the yellow. Now you see me pinch the brush. I'm going to take some yellow and white, and I'm going to say that here's some light yellow flowers up here like this. Make sure you don't have any green on your brush. Otherwise switch brushes. And if you're doing the rag, turn your rag over so that you don't start contaminating. In fact, get a clean one. You don't start contaminating what you're, when you wipe, you might be just wiping more paint where you don't want it. Did you ever think about that? Okay, now here's some, cad yellow medium. And these are a little bit darker. Here's our yellow flowers. All right, now I'm going to take a little yellow oxide, come up on the bottom side of those, and just say that there's a little bit of a shadow there on these. Okay. Now we've got a little bit of that yellow color. Maybe I'll do a few little dots of just like little yellow flowers coming here like that off the edge of this. Now what about over here? A little bit yellow up here. Come up here like that and say there might be something blooming over here. Nothing very big, very tiny stuff that's growing over here like that. Okay. And then maybe something grew over here that snuck in here. There's something snuck back there that we don't know about. Do you like all the stories we make up with our flowers and stuff? Okay, so we have, you want to do another trivia question? You were going to follow up with that? Where did the dye go? Ah, it's hiding under here. You ready, John?
Yes, I am. All right, that's the questions I'm looking for.
6.
The mystery questions.
Okay, I'm going to make another light
Anything
green
goes.
here while he's doing that mystery question. Okay.
Ah.
I'm going to lighten up a few
Now
leaves
this
here.
is something everybody should know.
Okay. Oh, good. That's good. That's
Here's
good.
here's a question. Everybody should know this one.
Okay.
What is it called when a color goes from its darkest shade to its lightest shade, or vice versa, in a painting? Dee 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 dee.
You got to give. I think we're buffering. I'm going back into some dark
Who's
greens
buffering?
now.
We're buffering?
Art, didn't you say we were buffering?
I didn't say we were buffering.
Well, I thought you said we were buffering.
Who's buffering? No, there's no buffering going on.
Okay.
Somebody's asking, where to go? Somebody asked, Kim is asking, is a wheel missing? I think they're talking about the one that's on the other side where the handle.
Yeah, there is, but we're going to put some grass there and stuff. So we're not going to talk about this wheel.
We're not going to talk about that wheel.
No,
That's how we do things.
There's no wheel here because we are putting more foliage, right? I don't want to even discuss this wheel.
Sandra saying gradation.
You could put a wheel there.
Umbra.
You could put a wheel there, but I'm not putting one. I'm just putting
blending, Ivan value scale, Kathy gradation, values from Melissa, highlighting from Karen. We're getting it all over the place. Contrast from Kathy. Repeat John. Oh, repeat question. That was for me. What is it called when a color goes from its darkest shade to its lightest shade, or vice versa, in a painting? Value from Donna, value from Ray, gradation from Judy, value from Heather, okay, LOL from Kim. Oh, you guys. Ginger's head is buffering. Yeah, I think so.
All right, I'm going to do another. I've got 3 red ones here, but I'm going to lighten this a little bit, a little orange up here.
Ombre. Thank you, Kim. Hue and tint from Yasmin. Deborah says value. Corey says shade tint. Cindy Lou's gradation. Ginger, what do you have to say?
Well, I think if you're talking about that, because that's your color wheel here. Here's your your color wheel, and that's the tone of a painting is how dark or light something is. So I would say it's tonal quality.
Gradation.
Gradation, okay.
Gradation.
All right, you guys, you stumped me, stumped the artist. I would have been right with you and said tone, right?
Anytime anybody can tell me how to pronounce things, I always appreciate that.
Okay.
I never did learn how to read good.
Yes, you did. Stop being silly.
No, I didn't learn to read until college. Really good. Better.
Okay. All right. Now we got some lighter, some leaves down here.
Gradient.
Gradation. Okay, that's a good one. These are things that's good to, it's good to learn things, and I'd be curious to know what you guys think about that movie, Who in the Bleep is Jack and Pollock, since it really is a good reminder that artists need to, here, I need to bring this up here like this. I want you to see it. We need to put the background in now. So we're going to take a little bit of burnt sienna. and a little bit of cad red medium in yellow, and kind of makes this orange color, and a little bit of burnt sienna. And we need to just sort of start putting, we need to cover up some of this red now that we've got for the for our background. Here's a little yellow oxide, a little bit of more of an orange color here like that. Just come in here like that. So we don't lose our shadow, but on the other ones, we don't need this bright red floor anymore. We're kind of covering this up a little bit with different colors. So we've got, again, we've got a little bit of burnt sienna, and we're just sort of, because we want the wagon to show up, all right? So we're going to say it's darker. Here's a little bit of burnt umber, a little bit of water on the brush, a little bit of burnt umber. It's just drying out here. Let's just get a little bit darker down here at the bottom of our canvas. Okay, a little bit of red, yellow, a little bit of orange. Okay, like that. So in other words, you want I want it lighter here in the middle here, kind of like in this area. I want it kind of lighter. So how can I get that? Well, I didn't dry it, but that would have been one way to dry it. Now let's just take, that's too much paint, so let's just take that off right there. Don't be afraid to just wipe it right back off if you get too much on somewhere, okay? We're going to come under our wagon like this. And I think I'll have to put my little leaves back. I think I got those on a little bit too soon. I want to come back here with just a little bit of dark under here, like that. Then we'll dry it one more time. You know, you want it pretty dark back this way. Kind of dark under here, like this. Back behind the wheel, kind of back in here like that. And I want a little more dark this way.
Has Ginger heard of Maud Lewis, an artist from Nova Scotia, a movie being released this week on her life?
I have not. But, you know, I love stuff like that, so thank you for telling me about it. We appreciate that. I have not heard of her. That's cool. All right, this little bit more red right here.
Suzanne would like to know, do you darken all the corners?
Generally speaking, it brings your eye into the canvas when you do that. Generally, I do. It's not a fast rule. You can break it sometimes, but I like to do that.
I did that in photography. We always burn the corners to make them darker.
It just forces your eye in toward the center.
It keeps you contained within the picture.
Yeah, you know, to your center of interest. Okay, so you want to back me out for a minute so I can see what I've got going here. And I'm going to bring my wheel up here like this.
Does Lynn would like to know, does Ginger know Niska? N-I-S-K-A? N-I-S-K-A.
Sometimes I'm not good with names, but I know the paintings. Okay? Sometimes it's just, one of my students is taking lessons from me here in Texas. She was at an art show at the Woodlands, and there's been one artist that she really, really admires just immensely. And what we've been doing is doing some, looking at what that artist offers, and then, making a kind of a version of, that style of painting. And she actually got to see the lady in person. She says, man, and then she had come from San Diego to this art show in Texas, and she got to see her, which is kind of cool, right? Now this is a little bright. So how do you tone down purple? Anybody remember? Okay, if you need to tone down purple, what do? You've got purple, and Dazzling Purple is pretty bright. Take a little yellow oxide, and it will gray it for me because yellow is opposite purple on the color wheel. So if I've got this, if this purple's too bright right here, I can gray it just by adding a little bit of that color to it. See? Just tones it down a bit. Now I have to dry this one more time, all right, to put our, we need to put our little handle back up this way.
Yep, you sure do. That's got to be really dry.
So John's going to show you some more stuff, talk to you guys.
No, John's not.
I lied, John isn't.
John doesn't have any more, even though Ginger keeps saying, I think what you do is you start to send it, and then you close your computer as you run up here, and it's not done sending it.
You think that's what happened to him?
Uh-huh.
Well,
I do. If you think you sent 3 of them and I got one,
yeah,
one got out before you closed the door.
I send. It's so frustrating. I know I'm sending this stuff. I'm not crazy. I mean, I sent it, and then it's not here.
No, we're going to come up with a new system. What is Ginger's favorite painting she has done?
What for when?
Of all time.
Oh, I don't know. don't know if I have a favorite painting from all time. I've got
There's
some
a lot
nice
of them
ones.
she
I've
really
got
likes.
a lot of ones that
Yeah.
I've painted. Remember, this got tilted.
Guess and read and look around, but you can't reply or do anything. So you just want to join. It's free to join the forum. Just go to the Join Us page. Hope this is coming through with our buffering. And can you guys even hear me? I don't think we're even getting through right now.
Really?
Missing out, buffering.
All right, I'm going to bring my
Buffering
ruler
is
here.
a dirty word. Yes, it
See
is.
if I can't draw this in here like that. Here's my ruler.
It's just so irritating.
Kind of is, isn't it? But you know, the technology is amazing too. So I guess we gotta go with that. The technology is pretty impressive. So I want to say that this is cutting right off here
You
on the
always talk
corner.
about the paintings on your wall. Can you show us the wall? Oh, we have to refill the wall. Yeah, we
Okay.
should do a live intro down the wall. Have you walking?
Yeah, we can do that. It's kind of dark, but we can do that.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
so
dark.
I want to come up here and say this is my.
Well, anyway, so let me finish my form. I didn't think they were going. We're doing, we have on our form, on the website, gingercooklive.gallery, all are free to join. Just go to the Join Us, and you'll see on the top left corner, it says Join the Forum. And you can participate when you join the forum. Otherwise, if you just come in as a guest, you can look around and kick the tires. You just can't reply or do anything. I will be doing a tutorial on the forum in the very near future, so you guys will understand how to use the forum.
Okay, now, that's good. I think in the forum. Here's the thing: you don't have to be a member to use the forum, and it's a place where you can visit with other members, just other YouTube friends. And here we're going to turn this sideways because I've got to paint a little dark shadow on the outside edge of this. Remember, I told you it's nice to use a tape, but you don't want to get too burdened by it. You know, it's just sometimes freehand is a little bit better. There's our way. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put I've got to have a tiny brush, and I need to put the handle. And incidentally, if you have not checked us out, we are doing, like, for instance, we just released on our website the tangerines. I don't know if we have that picture anywhere. Tangerines.
Yeah, we do.
And I want to say this week for Ginger Cook Live.gallery, our members every 4 to 5 times a month they get a new. It's almost every week. It's like clockwork. They get a new painting to do, and this one is done by originally an artist in the about 1916, something like that is when he did this painting, 15, something like that. And I show you guys how to do this. We also saw a photograph of this painting, but we're actually doing the actual painting for that, right? Isn't that cool? You can see. What? I'm not holding it up.
I know that. I bumped this for other people.
Okay. So, all right. So there you go. And don't you love this yellow? Okay, and these purple colors with the yellow. This is a perfect example of how complementary colors really work, because these trees have a real purple cast to them, and you've got this yellow kind of sunset on this water. This is a really neat paste. That's going to be released this week for our members. We just released this one today because that was supposed to be last week. We got a little behind. This is our kitchen series of fruit. Okay, and we have an apple, we have we have this one on a board, and then we have the cherries. So this was an 8x10, and this is a little bit, what's this, a 9x12.
9x12.
And so if you do these are great for the kitchen. You know, I think, these are great pieces, and I show you step by step how to do these things. And the detail is extraordinary on this. Show you how to do that. So those are some good examples of what you might want to do for our gallery. Now I want to take the chalkboard for a minute and show you how to do this handle, because I think the handle is a little confusing. So let's just, if you would, I had to think about the handle. So here's the pole going up like this, okay? Now here's what the handle does. There's a line across here, and this comes around like this. And then almost like a Y or a V with it straight, and then it's kind of straight in the middle, okay? So let me see if I can make that bigger. So basically what you're talking about is this, and then your handle's doing that, okay? And so this is your light side of the handle like this. You barely see the top of it. There's some dark in there, and then it's going down like that. So when you're drawing in this handle, that's what you want to do. It's almost square inside here, like that, okay? So just thought I'd mention that, because sometimes understanding the shape will help you put it in, because I think this is going to be a little tricky to, to draw with chalk once this is, it's gone. So I'm going to go right through this flower here, like that, and say, here's my handle on the wagon. And then I'll make my handle kind of an orangey rust color. And I'm going to do it here because I can do it because I'm going through this yellow flower in the middle. So it's going to show up pretty well. And then I'll take a little bit of purple like this and kind of outline the inside of that like that, maybe the outside. There we go. So you can see there's my handle like that. And let's see, I have any more orange I can put here.
What is your best lesson for the grid system? Showing how to use the grid system.
The grid system. We have several lessons on how to use the grid system. The cat is a really good one. That's on YouTube. It's really a terrible video in the sense the quality just sucks. This was like one of the first ones we ever did with. I think this is one I did with Mark, and I still kept. That's how, and it's like my first $350 camera, but the video is fantastic on how to grid. And also the chimpanzee is a really good one on how to grid. You can buy do you have that chimpanzee? That's on the wall. That's a great one. You can own that video. You can buy, that's one you can buy.
Cheryl's having trouble taking her wildfire, which is a 9 by 12 to a 16 by 20. You'd have to go to an 18 by 24 that's proportional. The 16 by 20 isn't proportional, so we say we use the grid system, and she's not comfortable with the grid system yet.
Okay.
So, that's the question.
Well, here's the thing. It doesn't have to be perfect. How they do big murals. Have you ever seen it? You go to a city, and they'll do these giant murals, and they have like 30 people, maybe 40 people. Everybody takes a square. What they do is, suppose I wanted to make this a mural, all right? So I'm going to make some equal squares on here, okay? And I'm going to say maybe 1-inch squares on this, all right? And then I'm going to say that on my mural, that 3 feet is 1 inch on my picture. And as long as you keep the ratio the same of your squares, okay? It doesn't matter if you end up with a half a square here. It doesn't really matter. Just say, I'm going to say that 1 inch is a foot or 3 feet or whatever. So and that's how the grid system, that's how you do that's how you grid. So then you put whatever is in the square. And if it's too much information, then you do, you make more squares out of it. You take 1 square and make it into 4 squares. So that if it gets, for instance, if it gets too hard to do, this is our chimpanzee. This lesson is only available for either rent or sale as an individual lesson. And again, I show you how to do the grid system on that. He's an 8 by 10 also. It feels a little bit. It looks funny. There's the size of it. All right. We show you how to grid it.
Why does he look funny?
Well, because when I look at this looks bigger than that, doesn't it?
It
the
does.
Canvas. And yet they're both 8. I had to look at my say it says it's 8 by 10. Anymore, I got to tell you guys, anymore, that doesn't mean diddly squat at the store. I tell you, take a tape measure to the store and measure stuff. But if it says it's 16 by 20 or 24 by 30, it can be as off as a 1/4 of an inch, which doesn't matter unless you're trying to frame it. And then it makes a big difference because apparently the frames are never off.
Do you remember the artist of the original artist of the trees?
Not off the top of my head, but he was
1916, wasn't he?
Yeah, 1916 is when he did it. But we give a whole biography on him for our members on the website. There's a whole biography about this guy.
Yeah. Do you know how many? Cindy Lou would like to know how many cookies is the chimp?
The chimp, I think the chimp's like 4 cookies.
Is it 4? I thought it was 3.
Well, it might be 3 because they're really 3 or 4.
Okay, 3 with some crumbs.
With some crumbs, it might be 3 or 4 because you can grid it in, and it's really there's not a lot to him, but there is some some thinking. But he's cool, isn't he?
I think it's very cool.
And if you haven't done him, but now look, if you did the dog, now look, there's not. Now wait, you did the dog. Here's the dog. Now here's the chimp. Is the chimp that much harder than the dog?
No.
Not really.
No, not at all.
Come on, think about it. Not that harder. It's just, dog's a little cute. Well, it depends on what you think is cute.
And you do not have to be a member of our website to purchase these or rent them.
No. But members get a discount on all purchases.
You have to ask. If you are a member and you want a discount, ask before you purchase. Once you purchase, we can't go back because it's not through our system. It's through Vimeo.
Yeah. So,
but you don't have to be a member.
So, all right. So here's I'm taking a little brush now, and we're kind of cleaning this up a bit now. I'm going to go with a little brush now, and maybe, let's see, here's my water. And maybe try to make my wheels a little better, kind of rounding them out. I'm telling you what, we do some wonderful lessons, over 292 lessons on gingercooklive.gallery, and I don't think people get it. It's not if you try us for a week for $9.95, you don't have to pick 2 or 3 lessons. You can have anything on there. If you can paint all 292 in a week, knock yourself out. You can do it, right? We're all for it. We want you to be happy here. Okay, so we're going to give a little more contrast to these flowers by putting a little dark here. And I had my handle through there, so maybe I'll take some yellow now, put a little more yellow out. I didn't really intend for the handle to go right through a yellow flower, but that's okay. I think I need to do something with this flower then to kind of balance out the one that went in the handle. Sometimes you can do that. You can just say, all right, where else do I need a little bit of yellow? Maybe I'm looking at this. I think I need a little yellow over here. See that? So I'll just balance this whole little, and I won't put white there so it won't be as bright, but I'm going to just say I want a little yellow flower over here. Maybe make this one a little bigger here. Maybe just tuck one down in here like this. See, on this side of the edge. You can have a little fun with your flowers. We had some back here. We said there was something peeking up back here. We have those over here. Oh yeah, then we could have some more green stuff. We're going to be, I want everybody to have a wonderful, those of you who are doing Easter this Sunday, I hope everybody has a wonderful Easter. We may come live on Easter in the afternoon with John and let him paint, And if for whatever reason you've got something family going on, you can't watch it, you can catch us later.
Catch us on the replay.
Catch us on the replay. There's no worries on that. It'll be on the replay.
What brush are you using right at the moment, please?
I'm using a pointed 000. This is one of Cinnamon's that she has on her site. Incidentally, if you go to the brush size and you Rush Guys, any brush on their site, if you use my discount code GingerCook, all one word, you get 5% off. But this is a one by the Silver Company, and it's a 000, a little kind of a pointed brush here. Okay, and then let's just take a little bit of lighter green here. I just need a few little light green things here like that. All right, so I would say we got pretty close to, our goal here with this, John. I wanted a little bit more red and orange in the center of the wheels. Here's the yellow and the red here. Wanted a little bit darker here. Like this, I guess, what I ran out of is red, Cad Red Medium. Okay, so, and I'm using professional grade acrylic paint. Someone asked me the other day, if you only had a choice and you could only upgrade one thing, what would you upgrade? And I would tell you, here's a little bit more Cad Red Medium. I would upgrade my brushes first, and then the next thing I would do is I would upgrade my white paint. It's very inexpensive to buy professional white paint. That'll make a huge difference for you if you do that, okay?
That alone will help.
Huh?
That alone will help.
Yeah, just have some good white, nothing else. And then I would say, the other thing you might want to do is you want reds and yellows.
Thank you, Donna, for the donation. Greatly appreciate that.
Oh, thank you very much. That is so nice. We always appreciate it. That's a feature that, YouTube started very recently, where if you're watching the live shows, you can make a little donations. As little as $1. You can just throw $1 over our way. It helps to offset paint costs and stuff. We really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Kind of like tip the artist, that kind of thing. But
you can even do it on Android devices. So the Android family can do it. The iPhones are not compatible with that feature as of yet.
Yeah, so I'm going to just kind of skinny up this wheel a little bit here with some orange, kind of playing with my wheels a little bit. They look like they kind of have flat tires, but I'm sure you'll make your wheels more round. But anyway, there's my wheels. I think they're kind of fun. Somebody's right about there would be straight back here, you might see it. I didn't put it in. I just put a bush here because I just didn't want to talk about this other wheel because it kind of interfered with everything else I was doing. So there.
That's just how Ginger does things. You don't want to talk about it. We cover it up. A big
cover
leaf
it up.
covers it up.
We're just, I'm just saying that I want some bushes going this way, and then I don't have to discuss any wheels. It was just, I was telling John. Everybody says they like stories. Okay, we're almost done with this, but I got to tell you the story. Cinnamon's dad used to fly hang gliders. He was one of the first people to ever have hang glider. And in fact, he used to sit there with my sewing machine when he wasn't making me swimsuits. He was making hang gliders on it. Those are Berninas. They can sew through a piece of leather and then hit chiffon. They're amazing, these Bernina sewing machines. And they're made in Switzerland. They're the awesome, those Bernina things. Those of you who sew know exactly what I'm talking about, okay? So anyway, Cinnamon's dad used to do that. He made his own hang gliders. And and then we went to, the reason we moved to Southern California was so he could fly off the cliffs there above San Diego and fly his hang glider. So we got to, and then he would land on the beach sometimes and he'd want help carrying it back up. All the other flyers seemed to make it back to the top of the cliff, but he never did. And it was a long way down. But anyway, I'd have to climb down and help him carry his stupid hang glider back up to the top of the cliff because I guess he couldn't make friends with anybody else that was willing to do it. I don't know. But anyway, they were flying off the cliff. And so we had a group of friends there in California. We met over the months spending at the beach. And this one gal, her name was Eva, and she had this wonderful accent. I think she told me she was from Czechoslovakia. And her husband, who was an insurance salesman and, probably in his late 40s, was very fascinated by this hang glider business. And he was talking to Colby all the time about, Cinnamon's dad was named Colby, he was talking to Cinnamon's dad all the time about, I just love to do that hang glider stuff. I think that's so neat. How do you get involved in that? And I said to Eva, I said, Eva, your husband looks, he's not her husband was, a really, an indoor office guy, shoes and socks to the beach kind of person still, right? And I really just wasn't picturing him flying hang gliders. I mean, this was not his thing. And I said, I'm kind of worried about your husband. I said, I'm afraid about him flying these hang gliders, because we knew a lot of people and they just died from doing that. This is not an easy, just boop, into the mountain and they're gone, And she says, no. She says, Bob, he says, there'll be he no fly hang gliders. There'll be no hang gliders. Bob no fly hang gliders. I said, well, Eva, she says, how do you know that? She said, I tell you why. She says, because Eva doesn't want a hang glider. And what Eva doesn't want, Eva doesn't get. Don't you love that? I never forgot that. What Eva doesn't want, Eva doesn't get. And Eva doesn't want no hang glider.
Hey, we'd like to thank Brenda for the donation. Greatly appreciate it.
Thanks, Brenda. Appreciate it. I just loved Eva's stories. I mean, she was so funny. And it was true. Bob never got a hang glider, but, it's fun to dream. Talk to people about doing stuff. And who doesn't want to talk to the girl that the lady that did the Iditarod? The one that took those. That's that Alaska sled race with the dogs, and there's been some women that have actually finished first in that, and but in all aspects of that, I really don't want to run an Iditarod or go race dogs. But the idea is,
but if somebody can do it.
It's romantic to think that someone's doing it. I think anyway.
I think it's cool. Great.
I think it's absolutely great that someone. I think I'm going to make this green. I'm going to take that. We're going to kill that flower right there.
Let's give Marilyn a big thank you for the donation.
Thanks, Marilyn, because I want this to show up. So I'm going to put a green leaf back here behind my handle. Shows up better, doesn't it? My handle, a little bit, didn't it? You put a little green leaf back there.
Oh yeah, kind of. Yeah, so you can see through it.
Yeah, that's just the handle wasn't showing up, you guys. And so thanks very much for that. And I think this is a fun thing to do. I think you guys that this painting with painting this stuff and just taking your time. We're just chatting and just painting away. I think that's kind of fun. I want a dark line under here like that under our handle.
Oh, Donna would like to know: does Matisse paint play well with Golden and Liquitex? Do they all play well together?
Yeah, they do. Matisse, Golden, and Liquitex all play really well together.
They're all buddies.
They're all buddies. They pay well. Now, and it's, it's like sitting around talking to somebody if they like Fords or if they like Chevrolet cars or they like Dodges or Chryslers or Mitsubishis,
What happened to Toyota?
They're not in the running, baby. What Toyota's?
Whoa, okay. When it's time to go out tomorrow, let's just see what car you end up in. Just saying.
Well, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. There's debates, right? And so, I mean, is one really better than another? I think a lot of it's personal preference,
yes,
okay?
it is.
And the model of the car. And I have one student, and she just swears by the white paint from Golden, but I personally like the cad red paint from Matisse, okay? But now, in all fairness, I've been using cad red from Liquitex, okay? And do I even have any cad red from Matisse? Here's some. Now this is interesting. This is a Matisse. Now here, let's play. This is Matisse Orange Series 7. Now this is like a $35 tube of paint. You want to play with that?
No, not really.
Yeah,
I guess we're going to, though, aren't we?
We're going to, because I'm going to show you the difference when you get up into colors.
Could you do that dye so it doesn't get completely covered?
What dyes? This thing?
Yes. Thank you.
Sure. Look at my hands. Look at that. All right. Now I'm going to take some of this and put it on here on my wagon.
That just brightened that baby right up.
Look at that. Isn't that just extraordinary? Is it worth the money? Yeah, huh? I mean, I'm just saying, you don't want to put it everywhere, but,
Is that kind of like a color surprise a little bit?
This is like a color surprise. This is nobody else makes anything like that. This is their best red, and it's kind of an orange red. It's really pretty, isn't it? It's brighter than that, and this, you can see the difference, can't you? So, I mean, yeah, does orange, does it make a difference? Here's a cad red medium from Matisse. All right, now we're just going to put some on here like this, right? And I've painted the sides of my canvas. Can you see that?
I can.
So now I'm just going to repaint this again. Do you see the difference?
I can't see it there. I'm going to have to
Can you see the difference?
Hold on. Well, it's going to be a while before it comes up on the screen.
All right. So, I mean, I can see the difference.
Okay.
But you could argue that was coat 2 also.
Yeah.
So, I mean, is there a difference? Let's see. Let's put it somewhere else. Here's some just Matisse cad red medium. I think it's brighter myself, right? I think it's a little brighter than the Liquitex.
When somebody asked what is the number of the magenta.
Oh yeah, that was.
And I looked at the tube, and I don't see a number on it. So can you help me find this number that you're?
Yeah, they asked the design magenta. What is the number? It's a series 1, and it should say on the back here.
That could not find it anywhere. On Liquitex, you can find it. They gave you the formula. But on Matisse, I found nothing.
Yeah, well, the biggest words I can find on here are made in Australia, and we're happy for you guys. And after that, Ginger can't see anything. So good luck, right? So we don't know. We give up. You tell us. We don't know. It's designed Matisse. It's a Series 1. Now, what does Series 1 mean?
Cheaper paint?
Less expensive pigment. Cheaper paint. So whites are 1s. That one I told you about over here, this Matisse Orange DPF, is a Series 7.
Is that the highest number they go?
Yeah, highest is a 7. Okay, some watercolors I think go up to number 40 or something.
Oh yeah, because
I mean,
pure.
There's a Winsor Newton watercolor paint that I feel like we're all just sitting around having a chat, aren't we? There was this one Winsor Newton watercolor paint, and they've been making it the same way for a couple hundred years, and it takes them 6 months to make it, and it's top secret, and only a few people know how, and it's up in the attic somewhere in the paint building. And but if you're paying a lot of money for a color, and you understood it took them 6 months to make it, you're much more willing to pay that than if you just think that they just threw something together and decided to charge more. Usually what you're paying for is the pigments, all right? So you can see the difference in the bright red wagon when I put those colors in, right? That's very pretty, right? So, I mean, anyway, there's our, still feel like I've got a little bit of a flat tire going here, you guys, but I don't think I'll try to fix it tonight. But my recommendation to you is don't do what I do what I say, and round out that tire, right? Try to round this out. And if trace something round if you're not sure, okay? Let's round that out. That's a little better. All right, I'm going to sign this, and we're going to have any more questions before we call it a day?
Before we call it a day, any more questions? Taking questions. Final questions.
Final question before we wrap up with some words of wisdom.
Ooh, I love it when you say that.
I'm just looking at this going, I've just got to do something here. Of course I do, right?
We still have 264 people watching.
Well, we thank you very much. I'll tell you what, we so appreciate you guys, and we're interested, I know you guys like flowers. We'll try to do more of these kinds of things. I know everybody likes them. We kind of straighten up that pot a little bit. Feels a little crooked to me, and I'm not sure why. But the Leaning Tower of Pisa with this pot. What? How did this even happen, John? I don't understand it. Leaning Tower of Pisa with the pot. I think it has to come this way. Huh?
Ooh.
Look at that. See, I knew I'd do one or the other, right?
I had to do one or the other.
One or the other. There. See, we fixed it. Little things. Fixed it. How easy was that? Pretty easy. Or we could have put a leaf and forgot the whole thing, right?
Yes.
Put a leaf.
That's
and
what
then
I
just
thought
say
we'd
that,
do.
Yeah, put a leaf. And let's see. Should we put some? Oh, yeah, we got to have some dead flowers down here. The ones that, that kind of fell off here like that. A few little magenta things that.
Hey, we'd like to thank. Now, this is SLB. How would you even say that?
I give up. How do you say it?
Well, we're thinking. I'm going to call him Bram 17 for the donation.
Well, thank you guys. That's so nice. We appreciate it very, very much.
We really do, guys.
We really appreciate
helps us
it.
keep going.
We just,
230 thumbs up tonight. That's fantastic,
that's
guys.
really glad. I'm glad you had fun with this thing.
And no thumbs down. Tractor, please. Tractor. The wagon needs a tractor. Thanks to Rhonda, it does need a tractor.
But anyway, and look, the question came up earlier from John. Why didn't I write Radio Flyer on here? Because that was the name of these wagons. They were all called Radio Flyers, okay? And the reason I didn't do it was because it's specific writing. It's like almost like a logo, the way Starbucks does. And if you don't do it absolutely correctly,
it'd be
it's going to look weird.
It's going to distract.
And it distracts. And so I thought, when in doubt, keep it simple. Have you heard that?
Again, what's the subject? Is it the wagon or is it the lovely flowers?
So, here's a few little dark shadows on this wheel here. So we kept it simple for that very reason. And that's why I didn't do it, and that's why, and I didn't do it. But you could, if this were a greeting card, if you did this as a greeting card, for instance, then you could go, thank you. You could write thank you here, or best wishes. You could write something on the wagon. It would be really cute. But other than that, I don't believe I would mess with it. For just, if you're not making this as a greeting card, there we go. Handle. Hello. There's a handle. Perfect. I love it. All right, I'm moving this out of the way. We'll put the other one. You can pick the one you like best. No two paintings are ever quite the same. And can we back out a little bit? Don't you like the red edges, see? So it's really neat, isn't it? So it kind of looks good when you have the red edges, right?
Hold on. There we go.
Okay, there we go. So
okay, now, several people, when it comes to you guys doing your wagon, you can put in that fourth wheel. They're a little upset that they think that wheel's really missing. It's bothering them.
You think that it's going to go right here, right?
Yeah.
Well, all right, just I'm going to humor you guys. I'm going to put it in there. But
Is it fully dry? Is it fully dry?
Yeah, it's fully dry.
You can take it off if you don't like it.
Because the problem is, you're not going to see it. Because here's the wheel. It's coming in here like that. So then on this side, right?
It's
going to be down here, and I want you to see what would happen. So if you said there was a wheel here, you would just see the shadow of it, like this underneath here, but you wouldn't, and you kind of lose the line of the wagon. But you can put it there if you want, if it makes you happy.
I don't like that.
Huh?
I don't like it.
Yeah, but that's why I didn't put it in.
I'd make a few bigger leaves there and just really be done with it.
Well, you could do that too. Just a few bigger leaves and just have something growing and just, sometimes when in doubt, throw it out.
When in doubt, cover it with a leaf and call it good.
Yeah, cover it with the leaf and call it good. You know what I mean? We can sit there and say, there we go.
I think it's a fun painting. I think you guys can have a lot of fun with this one and do a lot of different things with it.
Yeah, you can, right? And there's some leaves going this way, and then that makes that wagon wheel show up a little better. And, that kind of stuff. And really, we only did this with one of these small little brushes, okay?
Did you do the whole painting with what?
With this little ruby satin silver 3/8 inch brush. I mean, these are great brushes, aren't they?
Yeah, we got to buy those by the dozen.
Yeah, I want to. And we tried it today. We did that boiling water. Thank Robin Coat. I'm going to say Robin's name. She found us the video from Silver on how to put your brush correctly in boiling water and reshape it. If it's a ruby satin silver, you can't do it with all of them. And we tried it today, exactly the way they said, and then putting a little soap on it afterwards and letting it dry, so it sort of holds it in place like starch.
Until you're ready to use it again.
So it really dried in that shape, kind of like ironing something. Like ironing something,
it's like
really.
a little starch.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I know my hair does better if I curl it after it's been washed.
Mine does too.
Does it?
Oh, absolutely.
Good. All right. So I'm going to just kind of cover up these edges right like this with a little bit of dark right here. There you go. That's it. I think we're in good shape. I hope you guys had fun. And come back and see us again. Subscribe to the channel. Tell your friends. We love to see you.
Hey, can we do a decorated camel for Easter? You go right ahead. Let us see it.
A decorated what?
A camel. A decorated camel.
A camel. And why would we have a camel for Easter?
I don't know. Hey, I'm only reading the questions.
All right, I'm just putting a few of these little red peaky things through here in a couple places.
Red pinky things.
Peaky things. We're just
Peaky
peeking. You know, maybe there's some little red flowers in the background here. Remember where our background was? I'm just sort of.
You just kind of bring that forward again.
Just kind of a little bit. I wanted to do that a little bit right there.
A reminder: if you want to catch any of our impromptu live sessions, do subscribe to our channel and on our forum. Because sometimes, if I have a chance, I will put a notice on the forum that gets emailed out to everybody instantly. So subscribe to our forum and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and you should be notified. YouTube is a little bit slower than we are at times, and sometimes they're ahead of us.
Yeah. So yeah, we try to.
We try to let you guys know as soon as we can. But we are thinking, I want to finish my gate up on, well, at least go to part 2 of my gate. I have no idea if I'm going to finish it. But this should be fun.
We want everybody to be, have a good time with all this. Yeah. Okay. It's all right, you guys. I would paint here all night. Let's say good night. Thanks, everybody, for coming. And we appreciate you hanging out there with us. And this was fun. And I hope you guys liked our crazy previews things.
The camels bring the Easter eggs. I thought that was the bunny. I don't know where Paige is from. Isn't that what the bunny does? She wrote back, Paige says the camels bring Easter eggs.
Oh. Okay. All right, Paige. Well, we're with you on that. We
no problem.
We're with you on that. We'll go for that. Camels bringing Easter eggs. I'm loving this. I hope this was fun. Thanks, you guys.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Subscribe.
Oh, Sammy, I see you're still around. Good night, Sammy.
Rapt attention. Good night, Sammy. Good night, John.
Good night, Ginger. Good night, Sammy.
Good night, guys.